Um, this is my second blog of student teaching for this semester, and this week went really well. I student taught on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, which is today. And this week was pretty cool. I got to lead his Just Do It, or his Jump Starts again, which is pretty neat. And yesterday, on Thursday, I got to lead his review session. And we were talking about the Great Depression, and I led his review session about it. It was pretty neat. He basically has like a game. It was like a basketball game. So he had like a PowerPoint, and he had different shots that you can take. And each shot would be a question. So on his PowerPoint, you would say, hypothetically, one shot would be entitled 2E. You would click on 2E, and then a question would pop up. And you could get fouled, or you could have a super shot. Now, a foul and a super shot is basically just for the middle school kids to keep entertained, I guess, physically. If you got fouled, you would take a foul shot on a basketball hoop with a basketball. And it was in the center of the room, and it was pretty interesting. So basically, you're combining entertainment with education, or as my teacher likes to call it, and as Joe knows, edutainment. Edutainment. So it's a combination of educating and entertainment. Um, and that's basically what the review session was. And the kids knew the answers. He divided certain questions up as a 2 point shot or a 3 point shot. If it was a 2 point shot, which means the risk wasn't that great, you could use your notes to answer the question. A 3 point shot, you could not. And you kept a tally, and then the winner just had class pride, I guess you would say. That's what was on the line. I thought it was a really cool review session. It was simple, but he made it fun. And that's what he keeps preaching to me, is you can't just be blah and boring. You got to be fun and entertaining. And even if you don't have that personality or that humor, I guess, if you're not a comedian, which my teacher is, um, you can still do a right presentation about it. So basically, that's what I've been learning about. Today they had a test, and I saw how he tests, and I graded um, their notebooks. He has like a notebook, and every time you take a test, you have a notebook check. And I saw the organization skills of a middle school kid, which is actually probably better than mine, but that's not saying much. But it was really neat to see how he grades it, and I asked him his procedures on how he taught the kids, or how he showed the kids how he wanted the notebook set up, and he actually showed me the first PowerPoint that he does first day of school, and actually second day of school. He donates the first 2 days of school on learning the rules of his class, the procedures of his class, and the class tour. So basically, the first 2 days is just kids getting used to what he expects, how to do certain assignments, such as a notebook check, and what his classroom has, what it doesn't have, what can you find. So basically, that was pretty interesting to learn. Because I asked him if the first notebook check that he ever does in the school year is the most strict, and he's like yes and no, and then he showed me it. So once again, I just keep learning and keep understanding that you gotta teach your kids how you want things to be done. You can't just be like, okay, this is how I want you to do the notebook, do it. You gotta explain what steps you want, what order you want, how you want it done, and it's simple things too. I mean, like put a page number, and he shows how to put a page number. How he wants everything organized. And he's not the most strictest with the notebook. He's pretty lenient, but the kids did a pretty good job, to be honest with you. Either the kids did a great job or they didn't do it. So there wasn't like a middle. Um, on Wednesday, I helped an 8th grade math teacher run a probability workshop. So basically, I was in charge of think of the right word, it would be a station, a station of kids rolling dice, and what they theoretically predicted what the outcome could be, and what was the experimental or the actual outcome, what exactly happened. So it was cool seeing his teaching style. He's a younger teacher than my current co-op teacher, but he still has a pretty good class management. The kids are pretty, I think 8th grade, they're a little more wild. They think they're the big fish in the small pond, as that saying goes, if I said that correctly. Um, so it's cool seeing the age difference and the personality difference, and how one year can really change a kid. Um, but overall, once again, I'm loving teaching at this place. It's a small school, as I stated before, and I keep meeting teachers, and I think I know almost everyone. Um, the students are overall really good. Each period's different. It has a different personality. First period, which I was surprised, has a pretty good personality. They talk, they interact, you know they want to learn, which I was surprised because usually first period everyone's tired. Next period is the quiet period. The period after that is the most wild period. But they're actually really cool to work with because they're probably the most bright as a class as a whole. Um, so that's probably my favorite period, but they're also pretty wild, which is pretty interesting, and you have to keep them entertained. And the last period is the period that I think struggles the most, but I think they have the most potential. So I'm excited. Again, this has been a really cool experience so far. And next week we start World War II. So we just ended the Great Depression. Now we go into that topic. So hopefully I can start teaching a little more. Maybe shadow teach or co-teach, and then I start my first lesson in the Cold War. So that's gonna be like mid-March. So I'm pretty excited. But again, it was a great week, and thank you for listening.